Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
A prosecutor demands Suriname's president spend 20 years in jail for his role in the killing of political opponents. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Wednesday, June 28. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. Suriname's military prosecutor on Wednesday called on a court to jail President Daisy Bouterse for 20 years for his alleged role in the December 1982 killings of 15 prominent political opponents. As the trial resumed in the military court, Prosecutor Roy Elgin said there was sufficient evidence that the murders were premeditated and that Bouterse was present in Fort Zeelandia in the capital when troops under his command executed opponents of his then military dictatorship. The former army commander has accepted political responsibility for the murders since he was head of the government at the time of the massacre, but he has denied any personal involvement in the killings. But in his presentation to the military court, Elgin referred to statements of union leader Fred Derby, who said that it was Bouterse who had presided over a tribunal that decided who would die that night. Derby was the only one who had been arrested and was not shot. He died from a heart attack in 2001, but had given a statement in December of the previous year. While there were insinuations that Bouterse personally killed two of the victims, the prosecutor said there was no evidence to support that. But he said there were enough statements from trustworthy witnesses to back his demand that Bouterse be jailed for 20 years. But the president's lawyer, Erwin Kanai, still has to present his plea on Thursday. After that, a verdict will be handed down, although it's not exactly sure when that decision will be given. The prosecutor will give his demands for the other 23 defendants in October. Meantime, the government has declared Thursday a day of national mourning for victims of political violence from the 80s and 90s. Government security in Venezuela has been beefed up following a grenade attack on the country's Supreme Court. No one was injured when the missiles were launched from a stolen police helicopter at the Supreme Court building on Tuesday evening. But President Nicolas Maduro described the incident as a terrorist attack that could have caused dozens of deaths, and he's vowed to bring those responsible to justice. Videos posted on social media show the helicopter circling the city before shots and a loud bang are heard. Reuters, a news agency, quoted officials as saying 4 grenades were dropped on the court and 15 shots had been fired at the Interior Ministry. One of the grenades failed to detonate. A police officer said to be behind the attack appeared in an Instagram video dressed in military fatigues and flanked by armed masked men. He said he led the attack to fight against tyranny. He identified himself as Oscar Perez and condemned the Maduro administration, which he described as criminal. He claimed he had no political ties and said he was part of a coalition of military employees, policemen and civilians looking for balance. The incident comes amid ongoing protests in Venezuela by thousands of citizens demanding Maduro's resignation. In Barbados, the Ministry of Education and the union representing secondary school teachers are heading for a legal showdown. The Barbados Secondary Teachers Union, the BSTU, has taken legal action against the ministry over its docking of pay for teachers who participated in a protest back in April. The BSTU filed an injunction last Thursday to stop the ministry from touching the teachers' money, but it could not be heard until Tuesday. And because payday was the day before, the June salaries had already been docked. The union therefore sued government in an attempt to have the pay restored. The union's attorney, Gregory Nichols, said both parties have agreed to expedite the hearing of the matter with a pre-trial review set for October 18th. BSTU President Mary Redmond told reporters exactly what the union wants, apart from the teachers getting back their money, of course.
And that it would set a precedent and underscore the fact that trade unions in this country have a right and a responsibility to meet with their members as the need arises. Unions engage in very dynamic work. The school especially is a very dynamic institution, and we have to be able to respond to the needs of our members as those needs arise.
Redmond also told reporters that teachers felt angry, frustrated, unappreciated, and hard done by.
They are feeling that regardless of what teachers do, there is never any appreciation for the work that they do. There's not even an appreciation for their basic rights like salary and good working conditions. There is no appreciation for the fact that, like other workers, they have the right to demand basic things. Why is it that when we seek as teachers to ensure these basic things, these basic rights for ourselves, punitive action is taken against us?
Guyana has made significant improvement in tackling human trafficking. In fact, for the first time in over a decade, the country has met the standards for the elimination of human trafficking. Georgetown received high marks in the latest report on human trafficking compiled by the United States State Department. The 2017 report pointed out that the government fully met the minimum standards for the elimination of trafficking. Ivor Wharton of Capital News tells us more.
The United States State Department 2017 report on trafficking in persons has been released, and Guyana is on Tier 1, which indicates that the government of Guyana has fully met the minimum standards for the elimination of trafficking. According to the report, the achievements include approving the 2017-2018 National Action Plan for combating trafficking in persons, including the number of investigations, the number of prosecutions and convictions, and identifying and assisting more victims for the second year in a row. The report also states that the government's interministerial task force, which included representatives from several agencies and a specialized anti-trafficking NGO, coordinated a number of successful police operations. In 2016, the government reported 19 trafficking investigations, 19 prosecutions and 2 convictions, compared to 15 trafficking investigations, 7 prosecutions, and 1 conviction in 2015, and only 7 investigations, 4 prosecutions, and 1 conviction in 2014. However, the report stated that government failed to keep its commitment during the reporting period of funding an NGO-run shelter for enhanced psychosocial services to adult female victims, but it did provide $13 million to another NGO for the provision of housing and counseling services to victims of gender-based violence, which included an unknown number of trafficking victims.
In Belize, a former government minister is on a manslaughter charge following the death of a motorcyclist last weekend. Alvin Penner appeared in court on Tuesday afternoon and was granted $5,000 bail on charges of manslaughter by negligence, causing death by careless conduct, and driving without due care and attention. He returns to court on October 27th. His SUV collided with a motorcycle ridden by security guard Kenrick McIvet last Friday night on the George Price Highway. The security guard succumbed to his injuries early the next day. Speaking after his court appearance, Penner said he had been in communication with the family and he is assisting where he can. He also offered condolences to the family.
I could not be more saddened by the fact that a person has died. Family have lost their loved one. Beautiful young girl is left without a father. A common law wife is left without a husband. And I can only imagine what they're going through. It's been a tough time for me and my family as well. It's something I would have never ever dreamt of could have happened to me.
Around 10:30. Coming up in Caribbean Newsline, Jamaica's first and only female Prime Minister says goodbye to active politics. That story and more after the break. Stay with us.
The Sajiko Cave School of Business and Management invites you to attend Navigating a Path to Growth, a risk and competitive intelligence conference at Hilton Barbados Resort on June 26th and 27th, 2017. Speakers include Global Strategy and Risk expert Dr. Andrea Schotter, Regional PwC Risk Assurance Leader Bruce Scott, Miss Lisa Padmore, Dr. Delisle Worrell, Mr. Ian D'Souza, Professor Patrick Hossain, Professor Gillian Marcel, and many others. For more information, call 246-424-7731 or visit www.uwichsb.org. Secure your space today.
Celebrating 40 years of fun in the June-July sun. Vincimas 2017. Enjoy the exciting blend of mass and panet steel and glitter. There's a Monday street party like no other. And the explosion of colors at Mardi Gras. Don't be left out of the Vincimas 40th birthday celebration. Evo 4.0. Evo 4.0. There's Kaiso and the energy at Soca Monarch. June 30th to July 11th. Vincimas, the hottest carnival in the Caribbean. Check out Vincimas on Facebook or carnivalsvg.com for more details. Vincimas.
In a place where legends start, the beach is just the beginning. So live a little for the exhilaration and the color of every moment, where time is and life is a spirited event. Immerse yourself in the culture, the music, the people, the island. Love Antigua and Barbuda. Embrace an experience that leaves you breathless, from cricket to sailing week to carnival and more. Antigua and Barbuda, the beach is just the beginning.
Chatting CARICOM, your chance to get answers to questions about the regional integration process and how it affects you.
Why is the process taking so long?
Countries tend to retain a sense of identity, even if they have a common region, common ancestry, or common cultures.
Join CARICOM and CARIVision for Chatting CARICOM, Wednesday, June 28 at 8 p.m.
It's a bit more of community forum where perhaps persons can really learn about this thing called CSME.
Chatting CARICOM, Wednesday, June 28 at 8 p.m.
It's not at the political level, but at the grassroots level. We are the ones that need to make the idea of the CSME become a reality.
Chatting CARICOM, a community for all.
On building one Caribbean.
Oh, welcome back. Members of both houses of Parliament in Jamaica paid tribute to former Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller on Tuesday as she sat as an MP for the final time. Among those paying tribute to Jamaica's first and so far only female Prime Minister as she officially retired from active politics was Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who said Simpson Miller had a truly phenomenal career. Andrea Chisholm of TVJ News reports.
Political royalty robed in white arriving to pounding desks and a standing ovation during a joint sitting of the lower and upper houses of Parliament. The history-making moment was evident through the presence of former Prime Ministers Edward Seaga and P.J. Patterson, as well as Speaker of the House of the Assembly in the Cayman Islands, Makiva Bush. Prime Minister Andrew Holness said Mrs. Simpson Miller was a metaphor of hope and strength for the Jamaican people as she attained the highest office, that of a Prime Minister.
This is no ordinary feat, and you are no ordinary woman. We pay homage to you today, and we identify with your song, the strength of a woman.
He also described her as a genuine person who always had the less fortunate at the forefront of her mind.
You have been the voice that has kept the government focused on policies and programs that are beneficial to the poor. And I have studied you in that regard. I have observed how you have operated. And I am saying to you on your retirement that you don't have to worry. there is a new defender of the poor people of Jamaica.
The current leader of the opposition recalled Mrs. Simpson-Miller's contribution as Minister of Tourism, Sport and Labour.
It is indeed indisputable that during her tenure as Minister of Labour, the confidence that she inspired in both the labour movement and the employers contributed greatly to ensuring stability in the industrial relations climate in the country in what was admittedly a very difficult economic environment.
It was very visionary on her part to have created a Ministry of Climate Change, and I heard the Prime Minister speaking about that, and asked me to administer that named portfolio. Mr. Speaker, when that occurred, Jamaica was the first Caribbean country that had identified such a portfolio.
And while parliamentarians paid tribute to the woman known affectionately as Sister P or Mama P, some PNP supporters were also outside Gordon House to honor her legacy.
Staying with developments in Jamaica, the World Bank says the country is poised to record further economic growth, and it projects that will be around 2% and more per annum by the 2018-2019 fiscal year. The World Bank's lead economist, Philip Schuler, says that projection is based on the government's prudent fiscal stance and the resulting stable inflation rate, improvement in the country's current account balance, and heightened business confidence, which is expected to generate significant new investments. He praised the government for maintaining the fiscal stance that continues to generate steady improvements in Jamaica's economy following protracted periods of volatility. Schuler said that apart from a couple of bad quarters in 2014, there have been notable growth and improvement in key areas such as GDP and employment. 8 days after the passing of Tropical Storm Brett, communities in Trinidad's south, which were hardest hit, are still reeling from the impact. Residents are waiting on the floodwaters to subside, and more damage is still being reported. Ian Wason of CNews reports.
Chairman of the Penal Debe Regional Corporation, Dr. Alan Sami, says there are new reports coming into the regional corporation. He says the 1,018 incidents range from blown-off roofs, flooded homes, fallen trees, among others. He says people who live in isolated places not easily accessible are adding to the initial figures.
We're certainly not yet on top of things. The situation with the roofs in particular remains bad. We have provided tarpaulins, of course, and hampers and other supports, but we still badly need help with those kinds of things, more than foodstuff or anything else. But the hardware support is still badly needed.
Police in Dominica say United States investigators are making tremendous progress in the investigation into the illegal export of firearms and ammunition to the island last year. Police Commissioner Daniel Carbon is quoted by Dominica News Online as saying that the investigations into the firearms and ammunition found in a barrel on September 30th, 2016 were far advanced. He said he could guarantee, based on his communication with the investigators, that the U.S. is well on its way to ensuring that the people who shipped the barrel and those who it was intended for in Dominica face justice. Police has seized 13 pistols and revolvers and a 9 million volt stun gun, as well as more than 800 rounds of ammunition. National Security Minister Rayburn Blackmore had described the find as a major security threat. And ahead in Newsline Sport, thousands say farewell to Jamaica's former football boss.
In a place where legends start, the beach is just the beginning. So live a little for the exhilaration and the colour of every moment, where time is and life is a spirited event. Immerse yourself in the culture, the music, the people, the island. Love Antigua and Barbuda. Embrace an experience that leaves you breathless, from cricket to sailing week to carnival and more. Antigua and Barbuda, the beach is just the beginning.
Celebrating 40 years of fun in the June-July sun. Vincimas 2017. Enjoy the exciting blend of mattes and panet steel and glitter. There's a Monday street party like no other. And the explosion of colors at Mardi Gras. Don't be left out of the Vincimas 40th birthday celebration. Evo 4.0. Evo 4.0. There's Kaiso and the energy at Soca Monarch. June 30th to July 11th. Vincimas, the hottest carnival in the Caribbean. Check out Vincimas on Facebook or carnivalsvg.com for more details. Vincimas.
We're ready for Mars.
Ready.
It's another episode. Then we out on the road. This is what we love to celebrate, to celebrate. This is not Hollywood. No, we don't come out of road.
Drink, drink, drink.
King Baba and Nikita. Hey, hey, hey. Every fact that a boy keep on calling me wrong name. But that's okay, cause that's my babe. I don't understand how wearing a name tag on me. Don't know what to say, he's still calling me wrong name.
Don't get vexed with me. Don't say that.
Thousands of people, including members of Jamaica's football fraternity, gathered at the National Arena to bid farewell to its former boss, Captain Horace Burrell, on Wednesday at a Thanksgiving service attended by senior government officials and CONCACAF's president. Burrell passed away on Tuesday, June 6, at the age of 67 after ailing for some time. He was instrumental in leading the Reggae Boys to the 1998 World Cup in France. A representative from the Jamaica Football Federation and Sports Minister Olivia Grange paid tribute to him.
Abraham Lincoln summed it up best. In the end, it is not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. I am sure we can all agree that Captain Burrell lived his life to the fullest. He had a love and a passion for the finer things in life. This patriotic, loyal, distinguished human being was truly an innovator and leader in every sense of the words, and in every industry that he applied himself.
Patriot and compatriot rolled into one. That's how I think of Captain Horace Garfield Burrell. Patriot because of his love of country, displayed by his single-minded dedication to the development of national football with the determination to take the sport to its highest level.
Staying with football, a recently released report into the controversial bidding process for the 2018 and 2022 World Cups has former FIFA Vice President Jack Warner feeling vindicated. The report from former New York attorney Michael Garcia was reportedly leaked to a German newspaper, which gave details about the bidding process in which Warner has been named. TV6's Mark Bassant tells us more in this report.
Earlier today, FIFA released ex-FIFA investigator Michael Garcia's 400-plus page bid report on the 2018 and 2022 World Cup, in which Jack Warner had already been named in previous reports. What Garcia's report emphasized was that Warner had unduly tried to influence officials of England and Australia, who were at that time making a bid for the respective World Cups, to grant him favors ranging from paying to help update the Center of Excellence to assisting the then Joe Public coach Derek King in 2010. Garcia's investigatory chamber noted, evidence produced in this inquiry demonstrates that Mr. Warner used his status as an executive committee member to pressure bidding nations for favors and other benefits, as his multiple requests for favors from the English bid team demonstrate. Garcia also uncovered information regarding Warner trying to put unnecessary pressure on officials of the English Football Association back then in assisting the Joe Public team at that time and their coach then Derek King. It stated, Mr. Warner's demands regarding Joe Public violated applicable rules and the basic principles of ethical behavior. With respect to England 2018's response,
Despite Joe Public Football Club's obvious link to football activity, nothing in the record suggests England generally assisted other club football teams in Trinidad and Tobago. It is not a coincidence that the one team being discussed was the one Mr. Warner called My Club and Miss Bateman called Your Team. Mr. Warner responded to these allegations, telling us via WhatsApp, simply put, the report has vindicated me and does not incriminate me in any way. Every assistance which it says I sought was for the upliftment of others. It is informative to note, however, that the American investigator absolves the U.S. bid committee and says nothing about that committee's arrangement for Sepp Blatter and to me to visit Obama in the White House and to be conducted on a guided tour of his residence. The same courtesy was also extended to the 4 African EXCO members. Strange. Later in the report, there's discussion about Ben Hammam's alleged payment of $1.2 million to Jack Warner following the fiasco in which Ben Hammam was accused of trying to buy votes of CFU members. The report concluded that money was not in any way connected to the Qatar 2022 bid, but did state, for the reasons discussed above, it appears the document purportedly dated December 15, 2010, was used to facilitate a transfer of $1.2 million from Mr. Ben Hammam to Mr. Warner in connection with Mr. Warner's decision to resign from FIFA and refuse to cooperate in the proceedings against Mr. Ben Hammam. As set forth in the December 2012 Ben Hammam report, that payment breached the FIFA Code of Ethics. But Warner dismissed this as foolish, saying, Ben Hammam's payment to me was in 2010. Does their conclusion make sense? That money was sent to me to complete further works at the center where 3 suites and an elevator were being installed in the hotel. All the records are there.
And that's the sport. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Chatting CARICOM, your chance to get answers to questions about the regional integration process and how it affects you.
Why is the process taking so long?
Countries tend to retain a sense of identity, even if they have a common region, common ancestry, or common cultures.
Join CARICOM and Carib Vision for Chatting CARICOM, Wednesday, June 28 at 8 p.m.
It's a bit more of community forum where perhaps persons can really learn about this thing called CSME.
Chatting CARICOM, Wednesday, June 28 at 8 p.m.
It's not at the political level, but at the grassroots level. We are the ones that need to make the idea of the CSME become a reality.
Chatting CARICOM, a community for all.
On building one Caribbean.
Grow your business or promote your event through the services offered by the Caribbean Media Corporation and Carib Vision. Our distribution provides a platform on cable, terrestrial television, and websites. We cover carnivals and events from across the region. We can bring your event live and alive to the world. For music makers, program producers, businesses, we can expand your reach to in excess of 2 million households daily. Our other services include news updates to enhance your media products, studio space for program and development. We can facilitate the launch of new products and services and training. Contact us and we will help you unleash your creative ability, develop products and services, and provide the medium to watch them grow. Contact Loretta Skeet at cmccaribbean.com or call her 1-246-467-1044 or 1-246-253-3889. Call and book your carnival or event today.
Again, the major developments of this day: a prosecutor demands a 20-year jail term for Suriname's president for his role in the killing of political opponents. And in sport, Jamaica's former football boss, Horace Burrell, is laid to rest. And that's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sports round the clock, log on to ConnerNews.com. We'll be back here again tomorrow. But from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and good night.